Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages, it's Wednesday, it's 8:30. Bring your beverages. It's time for the Outsiders. We are not at full power, and we'll explain why after I tell you it is the Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho Outdoors. Go to ponchooutdoors.com. I think we got a right side poncho tonight. I'm wearing the long sleeve t-shirt when it's a little cold outside. I just sleep in these instead of sleeping in the short sleeve t-shirts. They're so comfortable. Jason down there looks like he's rocking one of the Texas themed poncho shirts. Is that a mother of pearl or is that a regular snap? Which one?
No. Yeah, we got all the snaps on this.
Don't take it off. Leave it on.
Okay.
He's dressing for us.
I was asking you to model, not to. Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I also sleep in these, Chad, because I mostly sleep on the streets these days, and so it's very warm. It's nice. So
sleep in whatever poncho you got. Ponchooutdoors.com, and make sure you tell them you heard about it and you found out about it right here on Orange Bloods Live. Mention the Outsiders if you want. We got all kinds of folks jumping in the chat. Chris Bennett is in. What's up, Chris Bennett? How are you, sir? Rex is knocking on the door. Somebody just let Rex in, and we will get to that. And to this other chat that's coming in. Oh, don't worry, Your Highness. You're gonna get your time, and it's not gonna be just an ordinary chat. Okay, it's not just gonna be this. No, that's not what it's gonna be. Before we get officially started, King Randy, we will give you your love, but let's introduce you to the Outsiders before we do it. Bo Edge. Not currently with us. We hope Bo will join us. He is being track and field dad tonight because the one and only Razor Edge has a track meet. Apparently, he is a two-sport specialist. What is it, 816 or 4? Is that right? The 8?
8 and 16.
If he doesn't get you in the 800, he will maul you in the 1600. And later on in the show, our man Jason Dick has a 1600 story. So apparently he used to run the 1600 as well. So we will get into all of that. So hopefully Bo will be here soon. Until he arrives, your upper left is the quarterback. It is Mach 5. Mr. Mach, what are we drinking tonight? What do you got?
It's a Wednesday night, so it's hump day. So I figured Wednesday night I might as well break out the little small red glass, which has a just a Jack and Pepsi.
Jack and Pepsi. I like it. Gentlemen, last week I celebrated Pineapple Deep Eddy vodka by drinking another vodka because I didn't have the pineapple, but I've got the pineapple now. We're doing a pineapple screwdriver tonight with the Pineapple Deep Eddy vodka. Tastes like you're on vacation. It's fantastic. Go get it. They've got it at Specs or wherever you get your fine vodkas. Jason Dick is your lower right, rocking the Willie Stargell hat once again tonight. Jason, what are we drinking?
My house is flooded, guys. The rain in the house is flooded, so that's a thing, but don't worry about that. What am I drinking tonight? It's about to be Valentine's Day, right, guys? And I know you handsome gentlemen and likely have very important plans with a lady, but sad single gentlemen like myself, not so much. But I like to get in the holiday spirit, so I'm drinking what I think is the official beverage of Valentine's Day, or certainly the official beverage of love and lovemaking. I got a squirt. Drinking a squirt.
You knew it was headed somewhere, didn't you? You could feel that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had to go three stores today to find a squirt. Okay.
Sometimes you can feel yourself in the shelter of a joke as it's being built. That was wonderful. Very nice. Well done.
I saw the glimpses of a yellow and green bottle, and I was like, oh, no.
That is Jason Dick, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight's lower left, at least until Bo Ed shows up, will be Blake, the super producer. He shows up tonight, even though his Kansas City Chiefs lost the Super Bowl in epic fashion. Blake, how we doing? How you feeling? Did you find enough drinking? What are you drinking tonight other than maybe Chiefs tears? What do you got tonight?
I drank enough on Sunday and Monday, so I'm sticking to a Sprite tonight. But okay. I'm sad, but I've moved on. I'm okay. I'm glad it was just a utter domination and not a classic heartbreaker in the end. I feel okay that the Eagles were probably the best team, and that's all right.
Yeah. Sometimes it is easier to process the blowout. Young fans don't understand that, but sometimes it's like if you could tell me my team's going to lose, sometimes give me like a 2-hour period like Blake had to figure it out, and then I can process versus, the way, I don't know, you lose on a last second kick or something. Yeah, I just realized who I was talking about as I said it. I would rather lose. I'd rather lose Super Bowl 59 style than Super Bowl 25 style. For those of you that are into the numbers.
No wide rights, please.
Yeah, that is a horrible way to do it. Big Cheddah's got a way to do a drink. How about tequila and squirt? Yeah, that's a good idea. That's good. That could work. That could work. All right. So there are the drinks, and we will talk Super Bowl, and we're going to talk about the history a Longhorn made in the Super Bowl. And apparently, we may have some breaking news as the Longhorns may have a new safeties coach. Like literally as we're talking, this thing may be coming down. But first, we have to celebrate the king. No, not the king of our picks. We'll get to our picks. We'll get to what happened in our picks. But we have to celebrate the king of all kings because we have to invent a new verb tonight because you all got Randied. And here's Randy's message to Bo. October 5th, 2024, a day that will live in outsider history. Apparently he did this from inside a cave. It's a little dark. 1 try and 3 picked games. No over-unders. Look at that. Taking a shot at the over-under pickers like Blake. 3 easy wins. Aggie -3.5 over Missouri. Aggie wins 41-10. Randy, you may want to spell. Oh, never mind. SMU +7 versus Louisville. SMU wins 34-27. And Indiana -14 versus Northwestern. Indiana wins 41-24. 1 winner through shady side bets, people buying chances, crazy picks that have nothing to do with the game, people with 4 to 5 chances to win during the entire football season, game, set, match, and ponchos. The Dusty Burrow is mine, and all others have indeed been Randied. Total victory is mine. Randy, congratulations, brother. You are the king. You are the one. We bow to you. And for now, forever and a day, as long as the Outsiders goes on, when someone goes 3-0 and gets a poncho shirt, they will have Randy. They will have pulled a Randy,
wow.
Or they will have Randied, or they will be in the Randy, whatever you want to say. Randy, you're the guy. Bo wanted me to tell you, your shirt's on the way. Your shirt has been ordered, and it is on the way. So Randy is the only person all season long, and he gave you the documentation there on that October weekend. It's the only one that went 3-0 throughout.
He nailed it early in the season, picking 3 teams that turned out to be pretty darn good. Like 3 really good picks for early.
Like I was just going to ask you, does in early October, SMU getting 7 versus Louisville seem to make sense? Like
I looked at the line, Jason, and I'm like,
right. That's ludicrous.
And the one I'll give him credit for, guys, is the one that I attended, because when A&M and Missouri were going into that game, it was kind of hard to know what was about to happen. A&M had played Notre Dame, lost, looked okay, but then they had a little bit of the quarterback weirdness, and they destroyed Missouri by the end of the day. I wish Randy had told me at kickoff that it was going to look that good, because then I wouldn't have been as nervous as I was going into the game. So I'll give him credit for getting that one right. He got that one way right. And yeah, the Indiana thing, that was an easy one. All right, so that is Randy. Congratulations to Randy and all of you that tried to be Randy this football season. Here's the way our picks ended up. Overall, I stayed on top, but Chance Mott, congratulations on running me down in the postseason standings. It's co-MVPs, Chance. Co-MVPs.
There's only one MVP. His name is Joshua Patrick Allen. Just so we all know. I'm a little disappointed that the full season chart is up there, because that includes Chance GPT, which was absolutely horrible.
I see.
Throwing me picks from last year when I asked it for picks this year, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. We see what happens when Chance actually picks games.
Yep, there it is. There are the full season picks, and if you guys want to jump in on the chat, feel free. So here's your update real quick. Thanks to S. Roan for throwing it out. Apparently, Orfe was hired.
That's huge.
Longhorns looking for a new safeties coach. There were 3 candidates. Anwar reported on orangebloods.com in the weekend and early this week. It was down to Mike Mickens, Notre Dame. It was down to Corey Sanders of Pitt and Mark Orfe, who was the Rutgers cornerbacks coach. So looks like it's going to be Orfe. There's 2 connections that you'll like here if you're a Texas fan. One is a Houston connection. He is a North Shore guy.
Yep.
And then that could obviously help things on the recruiting side. But the other thing, Chance, I would like if I'm a Longhorn fan, this dude spent a little time on a Saban staff as an analyst. And we've been talking on the shows. You wonder, not that Saban would have picked him, but like, did Sark talk to Saban and maybe ask, hey, who are the guys out there? Who do you like? Maybe did Saban drop this guy's name and say, hey, that kid we had that ended up at Rutgers, he's pretty damn good. You just kind of wonder, but apparently it's going to be Orfe as the new safeties coach.
I don't really feel like you have to wonder a whole lot. Like, it's almost like wondering on Christmas who's actually putting the Christmas presents underneath your trees. Like,
kids, Santa. It's Santa.
Yeah. Santa
Chance
Claus.
knows it's Santa. He
What
knows.
am I trying to say?
He knows.
Santa Claus.
Chance knows.
There's not a snowball's chance in hell that Saban didn't give that name to Sark. Not a chance. Because Sark has leaned on Saban, and that tree is phenomenal. I mean, the tree is, they understand how to work. They understand the mentality. They understand what Sark is trying to do. And that goes back to what we've talked about, the continuity in the locker room and understanding the message and everybody staying the message. And that doesn't just mean players. That means coaching staff. That means everybody within that building and the football operations, all of it. It all has to work in the same direction. And I have a hard time believing that name was not given to Sark early when they knew. Because, look, Blake, I've known Blake since he was in high school. I used to train Blake when he was in high school, believe it or not. I did their speed conditioning camp.
This one?
Gideon.
Yeah. He ran a 4.7 too. It was awesome. Oh. But no, I worked with Blake Gideon, and his dad was coach at Leander, and I used to do Leander High School's football camp in the summer. And I mean, great guy. And I think he well outperformed his capabilities when he was at Texas, which I think is what every player strives to do, which is to do better than what people think you can do. And he did. Then he came as a coach and has done a great job, and I'm excited for him to go to Georgia Tech. But I think this is a really good pickup for Texas.
And by the way, it was Chris Bennett letting us know that Pete Thamel actually confirmed OB's report. It was orangebloods.com and Anwar that broke that story. And I was just checking it out here. Yeah, Anwar broke that one about 19 minutes ago. Looks like something like that. So thanks to everybody for letting us know as we were getting ready for the show here. It's a big get for Texas. Did not take long. There was talk that it might have even been like the very beginning of the week, but it only goes about 2 days past that. So Mark Orfe is the new safeties coach for Texas. Very, very cool. Esrone, thank you for letting us know that. And if y'all want to throw a super chat our way, you can certainly do it. We'll also thank some of our great partners throughout the show. Why don't we start with the good folks at Covert Ford? That means you're going to see not only Sergio, but you're going to see Sergio's better half. There we go.
Hi, I'm Sergio Garcia, professional golfer.
And I'm Angela Garcia, a 7th-generation Texan. And as a child, I grew up on a ranch in the Hill Country, and we had countless Covert Ford vehicles on that ranch. I saw firsthand just how reliable Covert is and how their customer service cannot be beat.
And just like in golf, being reliable, on point, and consistent is the most important thing. So if you want the best of the best, visit our friends at
Let the woman sit, would you, Sergio? Please let the woman sit down. She looks tired. What are you doing? He's sitting in a chair like he's a king. All right. The Super Bowl happens, gentlemen, and there was a little history. This is going to be tough for people to remember in 10 or 20 years. But congrats to Xavier Worthy for finally scratching a Longhorn off that list. No Longhorn had ever scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Obviously, with guys like Justin Tucker, and I think there may have been another kicker or two through the years. But obviously Tucker's a guy that scored in the Super Bowl, but this is the first time a Longhorn had ever scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So congrats to Xavier Worthy. Unfortunately, Blake, it happens, in just the worst way, the opposite way. Even Mahomes after the game admitted that the points and the yards they ended up putting up, they were meaningless. I mean,
that second touchdown was pretty sweet, though. That was like a 70-yard in the air throw from Mahomes. That looked like 2019 Mahomes.
It was. Now the second that was the second one to Worthy. You're saying?
Yeah, the second one to Worthy. Mahomes is standing on like the 35 and throws a bullet to the back of the end zone. It was.
Yeah, and it's funny. Say what you want. Somebody at my watch party said when it was 24-0, they're like, "Hey, remember Houston was up 24-0," and I was like, "Oh, I'd forgotten about that." And no matter what else we saw, they did put 22 up. I mean, they're going for 2 every time and all that, but the fact that they still put 22 points up still does kind of speak to just how prolific they can be.
That's still the most jarring football game I've ever watched. That Houston comeback. The Chiefs led at halftime. They trailed that game 24-0 in the first half, and then led going into halftime.
Yeah, right. They get that, and I think they got it to like a 2-score lead by middle third quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
such a different game, though. Like this game from the start, it was pretty clear that the Eagles were going to kick their ass. And as somebody who had not a whole lot of money, but a pretty good amount of money on the Chiefs, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe what I've done here, because it's so obvious the Eagles were a better team. And so, I never thought that they were going to pull the Texans move on them.
I don't think here's the thing.
I didn't either, Jason. I didn't think there was any shot.
Here's the thing though, Jason, like, it was hindsight's 2020. It was obvious, right? But like, Blake and I were talking in the pre-show. No team had won more close games than the Chiefs. And I mean, which to us should have been a glaring, hey, they're ready to be beat. That should have been glaring at us, but it wasn't. But at the same time, hindsight, you look at it and you're like, well, the best roster in the NFL is easily the Eagles. Easily.
Yeah.
Their front seven on both sides of the ball is incredible. Their wide receivers are great. Their running back, arguably the greatest in the league. Their quarterback is average. And their defensive secondary, incredible. They're just a phenomenal team. So I think hindsight, we can look back and go, I should have known. But it was very easy to pick the Chiefs because what the Chiefs had done. They'd earned that. Like, let's all be honest. Let's not take what happened on Sunday and go, oh, shit, we should have known. No. I mean, this is the third Super Bowl in a row for the Chiefs. 5 years over the last 6 that they've been in the Super Bowl. Like, that's tough.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, the Eagles are probably better at every position other than quarterback. I don't know. I guess 19 of 22 probably. But I was like, Mahomes and Reed will find a way, and they will win this game 19-17 on a field goal at the end of the game. And that's why I had the Chiefs and the under. But just watching it from the beginning, the Eagles are just getting pressure with 4 guys. And I don't know as much about football as you guys do, but I know if you get pressure with 4 guys, you're going to win the game. Okay. Like, you can't lose that game. It was, I've never been so wrong on a game other than all the other times that I was so wrong.
Well, but I'll tell you this, Jason, this is how good the Eagles played. I mean, just if you hear sports talk in Buffalo, if you follow the people there, what they're saying is they have changed everything that they wanted. They wanted to trade up to get Matthew Golden. That's which I was all for because he's an impact receiver. Now, because of the way the Chiefs played, they are all in on let's give up first-round picks. Let's give up James Cook. Let's get Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
And let's draft a defensive tackle. Let's trade up to try to draft a defensive tackle early. That's what we're talking about now because the Eagles showed a game plan that is so good. When you can rush only 4 and get pressure on the quarterback, it changes the dynamics of the game because now you got 7 guys dropping back into coverage. It's it's incredibly efficient to be able to get pressure with 4. And I think a lot of people question the Eagles, but what Howie Roseman's done and that entire front office is incredible.
Yeah, it's one of those key ingredients. We've seen it in the Super Bowl a few times, and whether it's Tampa a couple times, Baltimore, the Giants, that's how they all won those games. That's why Brady didn't win more than he won, because organic pressure. Organic pressure is one of those key things that's tough to beat, especially when your coach doesn't want to run the ball. Andy Reid turned into Philly Andy Reid. Ironically, the Eagles turned him back into his old self, where they ran the ball 11 times the entire game.
Well, do you think, Chad?
That's really not going to work.
Chad, to that, and I understand what you're saying, but if Andy Reid stuck to the run, it didn't feel like they were getting anything on their run.
Like, they rushed it 6 times in the whole game. 6 times.
They ran 3 times in the first half. He never committed in any way. At halftime, someone that doesn't know football, like doesn't follow the NFL, couldn't have named a Chiefs running back if they tried. Couldn't have done it. They did. I don't know. Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Who's
no,
here?
But I think you have to look at the Chiefs roster and go, okay, Pacheco's not been himself since he got hurt. And I hate, because I love the way he runs. I love everything. He plays football to me the way football should be played. I love the way he plays. But even Hunt, I mean, he's an aging back. He's good.
He got run down throughout the season. By the end of the season, he was out of gas.
He's not going to beat you. Okay, so they were put in a situation where their running game had to be the short passing game. Their running game had to be screens. It had to be hot throws coming off of blitzes, which the Eagles did not bring blitzes.
Right.
They didn't have to.
Yeah. So then, and there were no quick throw adjustments. There were no hot route adjustments. They just looked from the very beginning like, well, the deep routes aren't there, so we're done. It's over. It was really uninspiring. And yes, part of this is me being the Dallas Cowboys fan. I am, because I didn't want the Eagles to win it. But geez, I didn't think Chad is more. I didn't think they were going to roll over that fast. I really didn't. I did not feel a fight in the Kansas City Chiefs from about, I don't know. It was like, I still say as soon as they missed it at 7-0, they missed the slant to Kelsey. I knew they were going to get dump trucked if they didn't walk out. And they did.
Hopkins dropped the ball towards the end of the half. That could have been a big play, gotten him into the red zone. Chris Jones literally fell off the bench on the sideline. It was just like, oh.
Yeah, that one was terrible. Right.
But this is the hard thing about that is, you're talking about a guy like, and this is where things just aren't going your way. If I see Roy Williams drop a ball in the middle of a game, I'm going, shit, things are not going our way. It's a mental issue, because you trust those guys. DeAndre Hopkins' hands are about as sure as you get in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like literally, statistically, the dude doesn't drop balls.
Yeah.
His hands are this long.
Yeah, okay. That's a great point, Chance. Yeah, if you're not going to commit yourself to a run game, it's one thing. But if you're going to do that and D-Hop's going to drop a ball, like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
what are we doing at that point?
I mean, there was a part after he dropped it, I literally had the thought run through my head, and I went, is he on the take? Because of the way he was late putting his hand. He doesn't drop balls. Yeah. That wasn't the case. But, I mean, the thought cropped. It crept into my head.
Like, just to see wide open. Really weird to see.
All right, so we will get. Oh Lord, yeah. All right, we'll S. Roan. We'll get to your Cowboys fan comment coming up here. I wanted to get to this one though, because Chris Bennett mentioned Kelsey looked washed, and then said Kelsey said the Taylor Swift booze affected him. We talked about this a little bit before the show got started. How many? I maybe remember seeing Taylor one time the whole game.
Yeah, and I think that one time was too many. I don't think it's – look, I'm on the outside of this, and I know Jason and Blake, y'all may disagree with me on this. I don't think it's fair to Taylor. I don't think she has enough attention. I don't think she wants the camera on her. And the NFL fans don't want the camera on her. The Swifties might, and maybe that's what TV is for. But the people in the stadium don't want to see her, and she doesn't want to be seen. And I think it's really, really unfair for Fox to put her on the screen like that and the Jumbotron in the stadium for her to get booed. I don't think that was fair.
I mean, just like the Eagles' pressure, though, Chance, I will argue, I think that worked out organically because you got to show her. You have to show her and assume that those people in the crowd are going to be normal. And once they're not.
It was clearly a Philly dominant crowd, too.
Right. Yeah. If they show themselves to be maniacs, that's when you adjust. But I can't go into that game assuming we can't show, hey, if Travis scores 3 touchdowns, remember, we can't show Taylor because
if Travis scores 3 touchdowns, you can show her having a good time. But
right.
I mean, I'm one of those. I know I'm in the minority, and I'm sure I'm going to get blown up in the chat. I don't think Taylor wants the attention that the NFL is trying to give her. I just don't.
All right, but look, I disagree because Taylor Swift is arguably the most famous person in the world. Okay,
that's why she doesn't need it.
Right, she doesn't need it. But when she goes anywhere, there's going to be cameras on her all the time. I would say did Kelsey really say that? Because I'm like, Travis Kelce, you've been in the league for 12 years now, right? Like you should not be. That should not affect you. Okay, you should be able to continue and play. And I know ladies have a special power over a man, but that should not affect you.
I'll say this: like, if he did say that, like, Kelsey does a lot of trolling in the media, like a lot of trolling.
Yeah, and it may have been right. It could have been a tongue-in-cheek answer. I did not hear that question and answer, Jason, to be fair. So I'm not sure on that one. We got some chats coming in. We will react to. We got that new Texas safeties coach. We'll continue to react to that story as well. And we'll also thank some of our great partners, like that great golf course Jason Dick likes to go abuse from time to time. Tell them about Star Ranch, Jason.
It's my favorite place to play golf in all of Central Texas, the golf club at Star Ranch. One of the great things about Star Ranch is they have so many beautiful water hazards. They got ponds, they got little mini lakes. You see the waterfall that's going on right there. But since my home has recently been turned into a water hazard, I don't know if I feel that same way about. Anyway, it's still a tremendous place to play golf. It's always in great condition. The fairways always lush green, no matter what time of year. Green's rolling true, and it's a fun place to play. All right, you can score well, even if you're not the most tremendous golfer. It's a great place to do a tournament. If you're hosting a charity tournament, something of that like. You can scan the QR code there or call 252-GOLF to make a tee time and get more details. The golf club at Star Ranch. For real, guys, my house is underwater. Okay,
dude, that's terrible. That is terrible. You got like sandbags going, the whole thing?
It's not that bad. I shouldn't say flooded, as I've seen homes that are, like out toward where Chance lives, like homes that have actually been flooded. Mine it rained so hard for a day and a half. And this house that I built that is like perfect in almost every way just has a couple windows that are like, nah, we're going to let the water in. And so there was like there's like a slight stream through my house. Okay. Just like a creek that went through my house.
That's a feature. That's a feature.
Did you put a little boat in there?
Yeah, I should. You're right, Blake. I should turn it in to a water feature. That's what I need.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. It could be beautiful.
Put a little koi fish in there.
Also, people who say, we needed the rain. I'm like, oh yeah. Well, I got puddles in my house, and my dog looks like a wet mop. I didn't need it. Okay, I don't know that we needed it. I didn't need it.
One of our chatters, SH, jumps in, says, anyone know about our new safeties coach, Mark Orfe? Yeah, we were talking about him earlier, SH. He was at Rutgers coaching cornerbacks. And as we mentioned, he was an analyst on a Saban staff a couple years ago. Plus, he went to Galena Park North Shore, a school that obviously produces talent. And it's a school that Texas could certainly, not that they've had no success, but you can use all the help you can get trying to get a connection to a school like that. And he will help with that regard. So,
well, Chad, I mean, to what you're saying, Texas has not had great success with North Shore at all. Like, we have killed it in the Dallas area. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at the guys we brought in from Dallas. We've done great.
Yep.
Yeah.
We haven't done that with North Shore. So this is a big get because North Shore puts out some incredible kids. And to have a guy that can walk into that school, go talk to those players, understand where they're from, make that connection, I think is huge. I think his resume speaks for itself. Like we talked about, he's been with Saban. I guarantee you that Sark talked to Saban. Like, all that stuff is great. I think it's huge that he can walk into North Shore High School and talk to those kids and say, I've sat in the seat you're sitting in. I've walked the halls of these schools you're sitting in. This is where you can be successful. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's kind of I heard somebody compare. I think Jason Sukamel of Orange Bloods kind of compared it to Duncanville in the Dallas area, that they kind of maybe have that feel in the area. Is that fair, Chance?
I think that's fair. I was going to say, and now I'm drawing a blank, my running backs coach when I was at Texas, he came from Dallas Carter. Chambers.
Ladies and gentlemen. He is here. What's up, Bo?
I'm here. Holy crap, it's cold outside.
It is cold.
Not, Bo. Jesus. It's cold for Texas people.
It is cold out there. All right, Bo. Since
Bruce Chambers was his name, Chad.
45.
Yeah. Coach Chambers.
We need the time, Bo. What do you run?
How'd it go? How'd Razor do?
He finished. He competed. he ran his, especially considering the cold, he ran his first sub 7-minute mile. It was probably 7:58, 7:59, or 6:58, 6:59. He definitely did not win the race, but he wanted to leave after the 800 and had to sit there for 3 hours in the 38-degree cold.
Man.
He did it. He ran his race. He was a man, and he finished, I think, 10th.
Beautiful.
But I'm proud of the little dude. He fought his little butt off.
That's good to hear. Bo's inside, and he still got that hat on. That's how cold he is right now.
I literally ran from the truck in the driveway straight to this show because I heard Jason. We were listening as I was driving in, and Jason's talking about buying Squirt, and Chance is still talking about Buffalo. And I just wanted to make sure everybody knew who picked Philadelphia by double digits at least a week ago and said it wasn't going to be close.
Good pick.
That was that guy right there. That guy said the Eagles were going to win by a lot, and then they did. Well done.
Who else? Who took Philadelphia in the pick'em?
I know I didn't. I took the Chiefs. Yeah, Chance, you took them too.
Damn right I did.
That is it. But Bo did make the definitive 10 or more statement. Like, he did say they were going to win.
I thought it was going to be a blowout. I said Philly in the over because Patrick Mahomes will get a couple late touchdowns to push the over. Yeah. I got lucky on one. I hit it dead on the nose. No, I don't hit them all that way.
Yeah. All right. So Bo Edge has joined us. If you want to throw a chat in, you can. If you want to throw a super chat in like ATX Bates did, you can do that. Thank you for a 20 spot, Bates. Gentlemen, sips bourbon. Sometimes you have it, UT women's basketball. Sometimes you don't. Anything Aggies. That's just rude. DMOW. Help me out, fellas. What's that? DM.
Dick move of the week.
Oh, Dick move of the week. I'm so sorry, ATX Bates. I'm used to the full version. I didn't realize it was so hip that now there's an acronym. Dick move of the week. Whoever said yes to the new Super Bowl graphics bug. And then a hotter than Jessica Simpson as Daisy Duke, hotter than Monica Bellucci. Why do I not know Monica Bellucci?
Yeah, I don't know that one.
But while y'all debate the hotter than, can I just say I kind of liked the score bug. I didn't hate it. I kind of liked that they tried something new, and I liked that there wasn't a big background that was blocking a big person.
I liked it. I actually did.
Yeah, I wasn't pissed off at it.
First off, Bates, I'm going to sell and go Monica Bellucci. I didn't love it. It didn't drive me crazy. I wasn't ready to throw things, but I'm always amazed, fellas, that they'll change up a main graphic like that for the Super Bowl.
Right.
They'll go all season long. They'll go championship game. And then a little tweak is one thing. That was drastic. And I think midway through that first quarter, some graphics nerd had to know it was a little too much, because I know social media was getting on it a little bit. It was a little too like faded in a way. Faded's not the right word. It blended a little too much. It didn't feel right. I lost the play clock early on, and they were trying to hide it over on one side. So it wasn't great. I wouldn't stick with it. I'd make some adjustments before next season.
The smaller, the better. I just don't want something that hogs up the whole screen. That's all I care about.
Yeah, and then they're trying to make it as minimalist as they can. I think sometimes they go a little too far.
You know what I liked the most was I liked the flag part better than I normally do. Like
they did screw up the flag part during the regular.
Look at the. Hang on, we got a good boy. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
Steve.
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Westminster was last night. Did he watch? Did he watch the dog show?
No, he was asleep.
What's his name again? Winston, Vincent. What is it?
Steve.
Stevie. That's right. Stevie. Where are you doing? Stevie. Who's your good boy? Stevie. Who's your good boy, Stevie?
I could get Brody, and then the two of them could talk, and that could be the show for the back end of it.
Well, no, he's been standing literally, like when he's feeling really needy, he'll like stand right next to my chair and just look at me until I pet him. So I've been petting him the whole show. So finally I was like, look, just get in my lap so I don't have to like reach down here and pet you.
There you go. That is good. We get Stevie's. We should, if we'd been on Monday night, we could have got Stevie's pick for Westminster. All right.
He'd have picked the Frenchie.
What's that? He'd have picked the French Bulldog? Oh, yeah. French Bulldog in a landslide. All right. Let's see. We have somebody, JD said, I would have turned the Super Bowl off at half if I didn't have company over. JD, you would have been one of the very few people to turn it off at halftime. Congrats to Kendrick Lamar and the most watched halftime show ever, past Michael Jackson for the total number. And he set a view number on social media. Maybe it was just a YouTube number where we are now. I'm sure we've hit this number many times, but there was a number. It took Usher 11 months to hit. Kendrick hit it in a day. So all those ingredients, fellas, I don't know if all of y'all were following the drama. I wasn't necessarily following every detail, but that thing turned out to be pretty magical. It all came together, and fans were really pumped to see it in huge numbers. So congrats to Kendrick. And now I bet you the NFL's looking for the latest diss track every year. Hey, can we find out who's dissing who? Can we get them on our Super Bowl halftime, please?
No, I mean,
I wasn't a big fan. I'm sorry.
Oh no, here we go.
I wasn't. I thought the performance was incredible. I thought the way his showmanship was great. I thought the choreographing was great. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I just didn't know any of the songs. Like, to me, I love when they were in LA and they had, all the OGs. Come on,
Trey,
with Eminem and Drake and all of them. Like,
50.
And you could sit there and sing every song. And I think Kendrick Lamar is a phenomenal artist. And I could never do what he does. I'm not saying that. I think a lot of times the Super Bowls, it's about, like, let's have fun. You've got big parties that everybody's sitting there watching. Like, they want to sing along to it, Like,
yeah, that's a good point, Chance. I've heard others say that. It was weird. He actually performed a song he's never performed live anywhere on the planet. And I'm like, wait a minute. You did it at the Super Bowl? That's bold. It was a bold choice, but the other thing is the singular nature of what that was. Like, a diss track won 5 Grammys the week before, and everybody was anticipating that he was going to play a little bit of it, and then he did, and it's powered by it's powered by our national obsession right now, meanness. There's nothing everybody loves more than just meanness. And that's what it was. Like, oh my God, did you hear it? Did you see the necklace? It was a reference to A minor, A minor and A minor. Like, it's just powered by viciousness, and everybody ate it up. And I was wondering, with a 24-0 game, I mean, obviously, Blake knew what that thing was at halftime, and he wanted to probably leave wherever he was. And I was thinking, are people going to give Kendrick Lamar their time? And wow. Apparently more of them showed up for the halftime.
I'm guessing the average person at a party who didn't really care about the game was probably ready for it to get to halftime.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get the show going.
Yeah, they were pumped about it. So good for him.
My opinion of the halftime show, I don't watch any of them. That's the 20 minutes I get to go drink more whiskey before I make second half bets and figure out what I want to watch. Like, it's not a knock on Kendrick Lamar. I don't watch any of the, like, none of the halftime. Like, Janet Jackson showed a boob, and it didn't do that much for me. Like, I don't care about the halftime show. Halftime is the time you eat and make whiskey drinks before you watch more football. So kudos to Kendrick Lamar. I guess like it's not my particular cup of tea. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't. It wouldn't have mattered who it was.
No, I think his performance was incredible. I mean, I really do. And I mean, I've read all the posts about the symbolism, and I mean that's all good and fine, but I would rather rock out with Dr. Dre and Eminem and Snoop Dogg and stuff that I grew up with. Like that was fun to me. Like I don't think the Super Bowl. I appreciate Fox and look, I'm a Trump supporter, but that being said, I appreciate the fact that Fox only did 7 minutes of the president's interview, because the Super Bowl is not about that. The Super Bowl is about our country and us watching a great game together. Like, it shouldn't be divisive in any way. Period. End of story. It should be all of us having a damn good time with our friends, no matter how you voted, no matter how you feel. Like, we're still all people living this damn life together. Like, let's enjoy each other.
But
that's what it should be.
Real quick, let's get to the bottom of the real question. Stevie, did you watch Kendrick Lamar? Stevie, did you watch Kendrick?
He said no.
Did you turn it to the puppy bowl? Did you turn it to the puppy bowl? Did watch the puppy bowl?
He said no.
The puppy bowl. Come on.
Guys, what I think the world needs is 5 white dudes commenting on Kendrick Lamar. Okay,
that's exactly what the world needs. One of them wearing a ski hat right at 9 o'clock at night. Yes,
that is not a ski hat, Bo.
What the world needs now.
Hey, speaking of bets, real quick, guys. Next year, those numbers you mentioned, Chad, are going to get blown out of the water because Kelsey's going to retire and Taylor Swift is going to do the halftime show next year.
Yeah. Well, hey, you look, the ingredient that they found too is like, forget about the mean part. There's so many Easter eggs that song has in it, little clues, little things. Fans love that stuff now. Taylor does that sort of stuff as the father of a Swiftie. I hear about it all the time. Oh, she did this, and this is on this album, and this is a reference to this. And if you can get those kind of artists on your Super Bowl halftime, I think you're going to hip it up a little bit.
Taylor Swift would be phenomenal at halftime. I'll even tell you, Morgan Wallen, who, I mean, I'm not a huge fan, but I know his music. He's got a million hits that he could play 30 seconds of, and everybody would know him. And the same thing with people like Metallica, people like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, there are people that, I mean, look, I don't want to discount what Kendrick Lamar did because, again, I go back to the performance was incredible. It really was. I mean, the choreography and everything that went into it and the symbolism, like, hat tip to him. And, I mean, I think he's a phenomenal artist. I do. I mean, he's not in the position he's in because he's not good. He's in the position he's in because he's great.
But the thing is the Super Bowl is an all-encompassing moment for not just fans of football. So Kendrick Lamar appeals to a broad audience, and everybody got it, and it got all these YouTubes. But the only people that are pissed are the people that watch the game in Europe at 9 a.m. when it's Jacksonville versus some other god-awful team, and they're playing DraftKings and Prize Picks, and they're betting on football. Most of those people have never even heard of Kendrick Lamar.
We just want to see AC/DC, Damon.
Huh?
Hey,
so we just want to see AC/DC.
No, but real talk, how cool would it have been in New Orleans to have Master P and, like we saw here with Brandon Huey, Lil Wayne, like some of those? Because I know if you had the Super Bowl in Houston, why would you not put the Houston artist out there?
Yeah, but they've also done that, right? Like, that's what the 2022 group was. It was that older, and it also felt a little safer. This one felt a little dangerous. I kind of liked it because the Super Bowl likes to be scared of stuff, and they actually didn't feel scared this year. I sort of liked it. Janet got them scared, and they backed off a while, and then they threw J-Lo and Shakira out there, and they did the knee slide, and I thought, there you go. Get a little sexy. Get a little dangerous. And this was like, we're going to put a rapper out there, and he's going to do a rap show for the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't know if I'd have recommended it ahead of time, but I thought it was bold. I liked it because it was bold, dangerous, and it also got him that number. Now I want to know where they go. How safe do you want to go? How dangerous do you want to go moving forward? Because if that gets you that number, I wonder now, like, what's the Super Bowl halftime going to turn into?
It should be Drake next year, and he should have it.
Maybe they just go back and forth like the Olympics.
This isn't going to be a knock on Blake, but it's going to come off that way. But this isn't a knock on Blake. The reason everybody's talking about the halftime show was because the game was so bad. If the game was competitive and it came down to the end, people wouldn't be talking about halftime. But you know why everybody got to watch halftime? Because it was 24-0, and everybody knew the game was done. Only Chiefs fans were sitting there going, well, Pat's got a second half. He's a second half QB. Anybody with 2 eyeballs and a brain could look at it and be like, they're screwed.
Hey, there was Bo.
Just demoralizing them on the lines. There's nothing you can do when your quarterback's on his ass every single snap. It's almost like the Eagles had the KC playbook and knew exactly where to attack. That's not what it was. Their defensive front was significantly better than KC's offensive line, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Bo, did you not find yourself at one point during the game, because I found myself doing this, going 28-3? Thinking about 28-3.
No.
I did.
It was such like
not one time.
There was not one time that I thought the Chiefs had any chance of coming back. They didn't have time to run plays. Like the only time they got first downs was when Mahomes just like threw it up for grabs to Kelsey and cost me a square worth a boatload of money if they would have kicked it. Like this is what I'm like. I'm watching the game.
Bo's actually just pissed about the square. That's what this is.
Yeah.
Like I was way more concerned about.
You know why I'm such a happy person? Because I didn't buy one single Super Bowl square this year.
That's a good plan.
Respect to you on that one.
That is a good plan.
Hey,
by the way,
I want to point out that Chad called the 2022 halftime show a safer choice, which was based around the founder of Death Row Records.
Right, but it was right. It was, but Jason, it's all about time,
baby.
You gotta consider time, Jason. If they put Dr. Dre in the Super Bowl halftime show in '91, that's a different story. This is 2022. Dr. Dre was selling headphones.
But how good was Dr. Dre?
Eminem, he was great, but Eminem wasn't scaring parents as much as he was back in the day. They did it when it was safer. Like they threw Prince on that stage in 2007. I'm not saying Prince wasn't awesome. That's one of the best shows we've had. But Prince wasn't dangerous at that point. Right. Prince was older, and they balanced between safe and danger. And this one, they got to lean a little towards safe. I mean, excuse me, a little towards dangerous because of this weird element of a diss track that everybody knew about. And I don't know if they'll ever get this again. I don't know if they'll ever have those ingredients come together again. They may revert back to next year it'll be just some safe rock band.
Bruno Mars. Ladies
and gentlemen. Next year it'll be Bruno Mars or whatever.
If they consult CDC, it'll be AC/DC playing Thunderstruck 17 times in a row.
Exactly.
They won't even have AC/DC there. They're just they're gonna go with the Say Anything boombox, and it's just gonna play it on repeat.
And the DKR droid show. That's what you need, all right?
It's not Star Wars, they're drones, not droids.
By the way, our man Chris Bennett, rap expert, does point out that Serena was there. Chris Bennett, when I saw Serena, I was the old man that went, why is Serena there? And instantly I thought I was a genius. I went, oh, Serena's from Compton. Serena's a great story out of Compton. Kendrick's from Compton. They must know each other. And then about 5 minutes later, somebody in the room went, Chad, Serena dated Drake. And I'm like, and then it all just.
If you gave me
walked on his grave.
If you gave me literally $1 million and said, Chance, why is Serena Williams dancing at the halftime show? I'll give you 50 guesses. Not one of them would have been because she dated Drake, because I had no idea.
It was beautiful. God, that was beautiful.
And the funny part is, she's dated to a guy that if Bo walked next to him on the beach with his shirt off, Bo would look like a Greek god. Yeah. That's true. Who Serena's
trying to say? I look like a Greek god next to everybody.
No, you don't.
Damn right. Yeah. And Serena's great. Serena's had 2 kids now, I think it is.
Yes.
Chiseled out of a piece of rock, baby.
And is she not phenomenal?
She looked incredible. And
don't make me go Jason Dick and take my shirt off on these damn airwaves.
Yeah. To take a GOAT level athlete in another sport and put them in the Super Bowl halftime show is goofy. It's one of the weirdest ideas I've ever heard of. And it just added to the greatness of what he pulled off. It's crazy. It's one of the weirdest, craziest things.
He's phenomenal.
Ever seen.
I think it's interesting that we look at the time that we live in right now and the players that we're getting to watch. I still think MJ is the greatest basketball player ever, but it's hard to argue that LeBron's not arguably the first, right? Like, I mean, I'm confident enough to say that he's up there in the discussion. And the baseball players that we're watching and the football players that we're watching, I mean, we've had the ability to watch people like Tom Brady and now Patrick Mahomes and like all these. We're living in such a freaking awesome time to watch these athletes play. I mean, how freaking cool is that?
Okay, this is something that just caught me over the week. It is amazing to me, and I know it's always been this way. I guess I just didn't pay that much attention. How overreactionary everybody is. A week and a half ago, Patrick Mahomes was in line to be the GOAT, and if he gets the three-peat, he's unseating Brady potentially. Now they're talking about the Chiefs are done. They're going to have to retool everything. They lost a game. Like, they just like, things happen. You move on. Do the Chiefs have some holes they need to fill next year? Yeah. All of them with 4 out of the 5 positions on the offensive line. They need help. Other than that, there wasn't anything they did wrong. Like, the Chiefs have played numerous shootouts. Maybe not in Super Bowls, but the Chiefs have been in plenty up and down games. They just didn't have the firepower offensively because they couldn't protect Patrick Mahomes so he could do Mahomes-like stuff. And they didn't have a running game. And for whatever reason, they abandoned that running game very quickly on. I mean, it was obvious it wasn't going to work, but you have to show it. Because by the time it was too late, nobody respected the run. Like, now they're like, let Isaac Pacheco run it. Like, you can't do that in the third quarter when you're down 4 scores. They don't care. Give them 6 yards and move on. It was just Andy Reid got outcoached, scary as this sounds, by Nick Sirianni, but more importantly by Vic Fangio. And it happens. Sometimes there are games that just go that way. Like, it doesn't mean the Chiefs are done. It doesn't mean that the Eagles are going to win 4 in a row. That was a bad game for the Chiefs and a really good game for the Eagles. Oh, by the way, the same thing happened for Texas versus Ohio State, trying to bring this back to the Longhorns. The Longhorns had a couple plays that didn't go their way that went Ohio State's way, and it ended up being a 14-point game that if you watch the game, it could have easily gone the other way.
Look at that. Bo brought it back to the horns. Well done. Well done, Bo.
Professional. What is sobriety shit? I need more. I need whiskey. It's too cold.
Very nice. Speaking of the horns, gentlemen, let's talk some Longhorn baseball, shall we? Baseball gets started, and Last Stand hats. They love a lot of things, but they really love their Texas baseball. It starts this week. They're up in Arlington, taking on 3 different teams, including SEC foe Ole Miss. Look at these cool Texas baseball hats. Look at this one over here. That's Grandpa going to the game, and you're going too. Look at that. He's going, and you're going. A little Texas baseball for you. We got another baseball one here. I believe where's the Omaha? There's an Omaha Horns. You want to do that? Omaha Horns. Yeah. You can do that as well. Occupy left field, the whole deal. Last Stand hats, the true fans brand, or as it says there at the top, head of the herd. I like that. Texas baseball getting started this week. So get to Last Stand hats. And remember, check out those Outsiders hats. Use the code Outsiders10 to get that deal. In fact, let me throw that up for there. It is. Outsiders10 is your promo code to get this beautiful hat or any of the other designs. Shout out to Last Stand hats. Texas baseball cranking up this week. Longhorn fans, I don't know if you know it, you got a new baseball coach. Hey, you're welcome. And Texas gets started this week.
Speaking of that, Chad, did you see Zach Sim, the Orange Bloods baseball writer, is doing a show with Jim Schlossnagle throughout the season? Started this week on the channel, so go check it out.
Yeah. I was going to promote it. I'm glad you did. I actually watched it today. It's about 18, 19 minutes he got. from Schloss. And if you're a Longhorn fan, great little entry point to the season as they're getting ready for the games in Arlington. So check it out. All right, our man. Speaking of left field, look at this. Look at this left field hat up here. Look at that, right down there. Look at that. See, there you go. I told you they had Occupy left field hats. Our man ATX Bates has a Super Bowl halftime question for us in a super chat. $4.99. Thank you, Bates. If you could have any band at any time play the Super Bowl halftime, who would your pick be? 1 Queen, 2 Beastie Boys, 3 Tool, or 4 Slipknot? I mean, Bates, for what we're asking, if you're asking me about what would be the most sort of quality move, that's another discussion. If you are asking me what's the most hand grenade down the well thing you could do, Slipknot by a mile.
Yeah, pure entertainment, Slipknot. Absolutely.
By a mile. If Corey and those guys go out there in those masks for the Super Bowl halftime show, the world would never be the same.
The fact that you know the names of people in Slipknot is a little scary in its own right.
Slipknot is big, man. It's kind of sneaky big. God, you don't notice it until that Slipknot road show comes through town, but it's like
Slipknot at the Super Bowl.
All right, go.
Even I know that's too far, Bates. Even I know. I'm a metal guy.
Hold on. Okay, so Chad, you're going crazy. Blake, what are you doing?
For pure entertainment, I'm going with Slipknot here. Absolutely.
Oh my God. Okay.
Pure chaos.
Give me Beastie Boys. It'll be like, I mean, what's next? Primus singing "My Name Is Mud" live from New Orleans.
Yes.
All right.
Beastie Boys. Depending on when you do it, Chance, the answer to this question would be Queen. If those are the only four choices I get.
There's
depending on what time of
it's
anybody
Adam
Lambert Queen, or are we like bringing back Freddie Mercury circa 1982 Queen?
No, it's any band, anytime. That's what he said.
Well, and if you can go any band, anytime, and I want the most anthemic quality of Queen, give me Queen right around that Live Aid time give me Queen once all of it's out, once We Will Rock You exists, and I Want It All and all that stuff. Man, they could play like 5 songs in a row. To Chance's point about I want to sing along, I want to know, I want to know the songs and stuff. They could tear a house down at the Super Bowl in that, in that kind of late era, right? A couple years before Freddie dies. That would have been incredible.
Queen is the proper answer, I think, with all of their anthems.
Beastie Boys. Beastie Boys is the answer.
Beastie Boys would be good.
I think Beastie Boys could rock it too. I think Beastie Boys could have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going completely out of all of y'all's realms, because the question is, if I could have anybody, it's not who America could have, but if I could have Leonard Skinner, Skinner, original band, I'm in.
Skinner in the prime would be great. Only problem, Chance, they would do. The last song would be 10 minutes too long, and the third quarter would need to get started, and they'd have to explain it to Ronnie Van Zant, and there'd be an incident. But other than that, I think it would be an incredible halftime show.
That's what I'm thinking about Tool, Chad. I think Tool would just play one song.
Yeah.
I was picking the halftime show because I'm just a dumbass, and I like certain things that I like. It would be the most unpopular halftime show ever, but it would be something like Turnpike Troubadour.
I was going to say Turnpike. That's
my favorite band. So
there you go.
It ain't everybody's particular cup of vodka, and it definitely wouldn't be the most popular halftime show of all time. But just Turnpike.
If I was doing favorite bands, I'd go with Cody Jinks. But I mean,
here's what you do. This is what you need to do. If you go with number 3 from ATX Bates, just make sure the Super Bowl halftime show is brought to you by Rogue Shop. Because if you can get everybody some Rogue Shop gummies and then Tool hits the stage, y'all don't want a third quarter. I guarantee you. That would be a show.
But for pure musical entertainment, the best Super Bowl show would be Jimi Hendrix and a guitar for 15 minutes.
Jimmy,
it ain't gonna make everybody dance. Just Jimmy. Anytime, any prime, give Jimi Hendrix a guitar and say go.
I would have to go back.
Everybody would enjoy it.
I would have to go back and look at the dates. Yeah, true. If you go any band, anytime, get Jimmy. Pick a Super Bowl that's in New Orleans. That would fit. And then, just let him.
If you want to be real selfish, get like Jimmy, Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Eric Clapton and just have them up there going.
Yeah, that'd be good.
If you want to be Chance selfish, you put Bob Marley on there and just let us lay back and rock. Like
that could be good.
That would be good.
Bob would be good. I like this is a weird idea from Bates. Sublime, Nirvana, and 311. Just
if we're going back to the melt your face off kind of thing, I think late 90s Super Bowl at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas and Pantera headlines the halftime show.
I will tell you guys,
little much. Probably.
There is nobody in this world that is a bigger 311 fan than Major Applewhite.
Is that right?
Oh my God.
Like, that makes me so upset because I liked 311 when I was in high school, and that's just wrong.
Oh my God. No, he is the biggest 311 fan you've ever met.
311 is the band. Speaking of bands that Rogue Shop would enjoy,
I wish you'd have been in some of those mosh pits we were in back at Liberty Lunch when I was a senior in high school.
Chance, I worked with a guy for years named Eddie, our man Eddie Cross, and Eddie is the biggest 311 fan I know. Chance, he's been on multiple 311 cruises.
Oh my God!
Like that's how into that band he is.
Like people actually go on those things, like. Cruise with the band.
The boat's not just cruising around empty, Bo. Yes, people are on there.
We'll go.
Oh, I just figured it was people that bought a regular cruise and like, oh, who's this band that's here?
People do it, man. It's crazy.
Speaking of Eddie, Van Halen could have rocked a halftime show.
You know, that's a great mention. Because the Super Bowl, I looked up the list today, fellas. They took way too long to get going with real Super Bowl halftime shows. There were too many marching bands along the way. Mm-hmm. Michael Jackson didn't happen until till 27, till Cowboys Bills.
Yeah.
That was the first Super Bowl where I can argue. Before that, there was New Kids on the Block did it in Super Bowl 25. Chance, your Bills and the Giants. And then Michael was 27. Before that, it was like Chubby Checker. It was an Ella Fitzgerald paying tribute to Louis Armstrong, but there were all the marching bands and all that stuff. They didn't get started quick enough, but I love the Van Halen idea. But you got to back to my point.
Not like 2000s Van Halen.
No, back to my point, Blake. You got to pick Dangerous Van Halen, and Dangerous Van Halen is prime David Lee Roth.
If you want Dangerous,
2 or 3 albums. David Lee Roth as insane as he can get, them at their crazy worst, throw them out. That would have been a great show.
If you want Dangerous, Chad and Jason, you will understand this one. Get Motley Crue in here. You want Dangerous? Go Motley Crue.
Girls Tour Motley Crue would have been a great Super Bowl halftime show, but they would have had to bleep half of it.
That book, by the way, if you read, each chapter is written by each member of the band, and it's a whole different take on how things went. One of the greatest books ever written.
Yeah, you talking about The Dirt?
Yeah.
Maybe it's my liberal bias as usual, but other than Chad saying girls, 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 we haven't mentioned a woman yet. So I'll say Kesha.
Kesha would have been good.
Would have been good. She's good right now. God damn it.
Well, she is great. I actually saw Kesha, was that last year or 2 years ago? And she is great. I love Kesha. But what I'm saying is you got to pick the right Kesha, Jason, and you got to get the right glitter covered, sweat covered, like don't give a damn, don't know where she is kind of Kesha. That'd have been a hell of a show.
Well, if we're going there, let's just throw Britney Spears out there and see what happens. That could be the wildest halftime show of all time.
And Spears never got to do one by herself. Why is that?
Because she's crazy. That's why.
Oh, no, that's why you put her out there,
Chance. You don't. She does not go in public. No.
Not now. I'm saying, though, there was a point where Britney
was that point has passed, Chad.
I know, but the question was any band, anytime. Right? Any band, anytime.
I know this has become a show just for the 5 of us to talk about stupid music shit. But if we're doing the rap reunited, then why don't we have a girl bands of our era and have Britney and Christina Aguilera and all of them come out for the Super, get them all.
Yep. Christina's done it, just not by herself. They used to put the younger ones out there with old cover. They had old acts to cover them up. That's why Janet was there, ironically, at Super Bowl 38, because they didn't think Justin Timberlake and Kid Rock and whoever else they threw up there, well, we don't think the old folks will deal. Let's put Janet Jackson out there. They know her. She's safe. and Janet messed with him. That's why that was great. But then it scared him, and they did 6 straight years of safe white men. Terrible.
Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake was probably the greatest thing that ever happened in the Super Bowl in the history of ever.
It should have been. It should have been.
It was so awesome.
And it could have been.
It was awesome because, number one, the networks knew they were going to do that. You cannot convince me otherwise. Number two, the boldness of those two, knowing how big they were already huge stars. Keep in mind, those weren't two people that were trying to make a name for themselves. They were mega stars, and they still did it. That's what makes it awesome.
Yep, it's good stuff. They thought they were doing one version. They did the other version. They thought there was one layer, and they tore both layers. All right, let's see. There we go. All right. Before we go any further here, Chance, why don't you tell them about Arch Public here? We got another chat we'll get to, even though I don't really want to, be honest. But we'll get to the discussion before we finish. But first, let's tell you about something we want to tell you about, and that is Arch Public. Tell them about it, Chance.
It is Arch. We had a great conversation the other day, and the thing that we talked about was they wanted me to push their Bitcoin product because Bitcoin right now is going crazy. It's a hedge against inflation. And no, it's not this giant investing deal that you're just going to make millions of dollars. It's not a thing that's going to go from 0.5 cents to 2 cents and you're going to make, 10,000x on your money. No, it's a hedge against inflation. So when you're trying to add that to your portfolio, you want to purchase it the right way. Well, that's what Arch Public does. They have a brand new product that purchases Bitcoin for you at the dips based on algorithms. It's incredible. People are chomping at the bit to get into it because they don't understand Bitcoin. They don't know how to get into it. They want it in their portfolio, but they just don't know how to do it. Arch Public actually has a free unit you could buy or use that's up to $10,000 a year. So if you just want to buy Bitcoin up to $10,000 a year, it's free. It means you don't have to pay anything. Now, you want to bump up to the next category? You want to get a little bit crazier? You can do that, and they'll help you out. Their algorithms will do it. Arch Public, these guys have been incredible. I have had nothing but great feedback from all the people that have been going to them. It's been really one of our best advertisers. They've been great. Go check them out. Check out the Bitcoin thing. I think it's really interesting right now with everything that's going on. Inflation, it's a hedge. Get it in your portfolio, but first talk to them, see if it's what's right for you because, of course, we're not financial advisors. So check them out, scan that QR code, shoot me a message if you don't, and I'll hook you up with them. Arch Public, they are everything AI.
All right. And speaking of free units, we got a Dick move of the week or two before we get done. Jason Dick, what do we have for the folks this week?
Well, I hate to phrase it like this, but to our guy, Bo Edge, who didn't make it here for the start of the show because Razor, the great young Razor Edge, was running track. Dick move, man. All right, Dick move. He's running, okay? It's not like Chance, your kid plays baseball. You go to your kid in the middle of the game and say, hey, keep your weight back. They're fooling you with the off-speed stuff. What do you tell your kid? You're just like, hey, go run. All right. Just run. Like the time you thought mom and dad were fighting, but were actually doing something else. Run. All right. I don't know why you had to be there, but you're a good dad. And so I don't want to make you the dick move, but I did. When you texted me today, I hadn't thought about this in a million years that Razor was running the 1600. It reminded me of a pretty awful memory when I was in 7th grade. We had just wrapped 7th grade basketball, CD Folks Middle School, Round Rock, Texas, and we were pretty bad. I think 0-8 in district. And Coach Hopkins was telling us in the locker room afterwards how he was proud of us and we made a lot of progress and how he wanted all of us to go run track. And I was like, God, that sounds terrible. Running is like the worst part of basketball. But he told me to do it. So I showed up the next day on the track and I went to the track coach and I said, hey, Coach Hopkins says I'm supposed to run track. and he kind of looked me up and down, and he said, "All right, go over there with the shot put discus guys. You can throw that stuff." And so I went and was doing that for one day, and I was like, this ain't so bad. And then the next day, I'm throwing this heavy ass frisbee everywhere, which was fine. Didn't really like going to get it, but it's no big deal. And Coach Hopkins comes out of the gym and from like 30 yards away just yells, "Jason, I said run track. I said run track." And so
wow.
I had to go back to the track coach who to this day, I don't know that man's name. Okay. I'm sure he's a great coach, but I don't know what his name was. But I said, Coach Hopkins says I have to run track. And so he looks me up and down again and he says, "Okay, you're going to run the 1600 meters." And even though I was kind of good at math, I was like 1600 meters. Well, that can't be that bad, right? It's the worst one. Okay. It's the longest one that you can possibly run. All right. I was like, how come I can't run 100 meters? Okay. I can run 100 meters. Why do I have to run 1600 meters? And I figured out that that's just where they put the heavier kids who they're trying to get in shape for football season. Put them in,
run a mile
in the 1600. Yeah. But it makes that doesn't add up because Razor is like this skinniest little son of a bitch I've ever seen. And so I'm sure he crushed it tonight, at least compared to my best time, which I will never forget. I will never forget. My best time was DNF. Okay. Did not finish. And so, yeah, I just wanted to congratulate Razor and say, Bo, it's not a dick move. I'm glad that you were there for your kid and to cheer him on running 1600 meters.
DNF.
I'm going to end on a dick move. Whoever the hell in the middle school universe thought it was a good idea. It was under 40 damn degrees outside and dark.
Toughens them up.
And
Come on.
They're taking breaks to set crap up. Oh, wait, no, just have the kids run. Just say, hey, all you 1600s, the time is 6 minutes. Just run, and whoever gets the furthest in 6 minutes. You don't have to have heat and line up stuff and have everybody sit around and wait. Like, this is how bad it was. Some of Razor's friends, because I was sitting there with their parents, the last race, Razor ran the 800, and there is a longer race, Jason. It's the 2400 because that's what they kick it off with.
Ugh.
Razor runs in the second event out of the gate at the 800 at 5 o'clock. He got on the track at 8 something to run the 1600. There's one race after it. It was the 4x400 relay. So I'm sitting there with parents, some of the kids he played football with. They waited for 2 hours for this last race to watch their kids. The other teams at the meet where it was cold and they weren't doing well, so they just left. They didn't. The last race they waited all night for was scratched because there was no competitor.
Because the 4x4 that's the one that everybody goes nuts about. Like that's the one that everybody that's the grand finale. You know when you go to
it's usually your better athletes. It's your.
So Bo, you're saying by the time it got to 4x4 time, there wasn't a second team to compete?
No, there weren't. Literally, I'm sitting there with the parents, and their kids start walking over. And they're like, "You're supposed to be up next." And they go, "They scratched it," and we're like, "Why?" And the coach looks over and goes, "Well, all the other teams had some kids go home, and they didn't have alternates, or the alternates went home, so there was no competition. It would have just been them running against themselves." So he's like, "We can just do that in practice."
That is terrible. Oh my God,
man! Well, had I known that you could just leave, my track experience would have been so much better.
Well, based on your result, it seems like you did leave.
Oh my God, that is fantastic. Let's see what before we get out of here. More breaking news, apparently from baseball. Alex Bregman going to the Red Sox. Kids,
he's such a little punk, dude.
There's probably a joke there about going from that team that got caught cheating to that team that got caught cheating.
Alex Cora is there. And
what's next? What's next? He's going to play Michigan football? Like, what's the anyway?
It's whatever.
Sorry.
He's the most.
You know what we have to do.
He wanted to be. No, I'll just say this right now because I know from people that know him, he is the biggest there's nobody that thinks more of Alex Bregman than Alex Bregman, not even his own agent. And he wanted to be paid like Manny Machado. Well, you know what, Alex? How about you start hitting like Manny Machado, and then
That's
you
all
can
we have
talk
to do,
about it.
Chance, as an Astros fan, and not everybody's going to like it. Whatever. We need to go sign Trevor Bauer on a 10-day deal and just let Bauer pitch to Bregman every time because he will beat him in the head every single damn time, and it'll be funny.
I'm with it. I'm so tired of Alex Bregman. Like, I got to a point when I was like,
much because the Red Sox don't win shit.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, Jason, I just made an executive decision. The chat I was saving that was involving our Cowboys, it wasn't a super chat, so it's gone.
Well,
there it goes. It's done. Okay. Anybody else got anything before we hit the road here? Everybody good? Everybody all right? Razor
next week, boys.
I just want to say, I want to say publicly to Blake, I don't give a damn that y'all got your ass run out of the gym on Sunday. Y'all made it to 3 straight Super Bowls. Congratulations to your Chiefs. I think y'all have done a great job. You're the organization that everybody else looks up to. So,
hey, hell of a run.
Thank you, Chance. And here's to the Chiefs and the Bills in the AFC Championship next year again.
That's right.
It may very well be the case.
No. The Titans are making a comeback. Watch.
No, they're not.
At the first pick in the draft, or what?
We're going to sign Aaron Rodgers and really be bad.
One more
our bridge quarterback.
One more shout out to Poncho. PonchoOutdoors.com is where you go. You can order this one that Colt's wearing. That's pretty much what Jason's wearing tonight. Let's do a comparison there. Yeah, right? Isn't that about what you're wearing? Yeah, little snap, mother of pearl snap. Got that going on.
I couldn't tell which one is which.
That's right. I got the long sleeve shirt going on tonight. So comfy. Oh, so soft and comfy. Check those out if you have not.
I sleep in the poncho shirts because they're that damn comfortable.
I do. I'm telling you, I'm going to sleep in this thing tonight. And if people go back to Monday shows, will they see me wearing one of these? Maybe. Did I wash it between now and then? Maybe. They're just so damn comfortable. Sometimes I don't. The hoodies, the shirts, they're awesome. The short sleeve are great. Long sleeve. We, I think, more than not prefer the mother of pearl snaps. But if you want to go with the regular buttons, they got all that stuff too. All kinds of cool colors and designs. PonchoOutdoors.com. And tell them you heard about it right here on OB Live or mention the Outsiders. I just realized we didn't hear from Specs. Valentine's Day is coming up. They're having a wine sale. Ooh la la. Pay attention.
Ooh la la. What a fabulous selection. I think I found my perfect pairing. You and Specs low prices.
Specs huge wine sale going on now.
Happy Valentine's.
There it is. Happy Valentine's Day from Jason Dick and
it was
his
definitely
beverage.
not kids in the car radio when I was listening to the show as we were driving from the track meet. Jason's like, what?
Yeah. There it is. Hey, you know what, Bo? Every week when I ask, what are you drinking to Jason Dick, I just brace myself every week.
Come on. And then right after it, YouTube runs an ad for a damn boner pill. And Razor looks at me and goes, what? You know those are based on what you do. And I was like, no, that's not.
Your algorithm's messed up, bro.
Those are targeted ads.
Your son. That is your son thing to do where it pops up and it's the son that says to the dad, you know, Dad, those algorithms are based on your activity.
Yep.
The only thing I watch on YouTube is freaking Orange Blood's channel and some crap.
Well,
apparently
they any place that needs boner pills.
Yep, and they algorithm us to that. I don't know why that happens. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, and getting those notifications. We'll be back next Wednesday night at 8:30 with another edition of The Outsiders. Who the hell knows what we'll talk about? Maybe your favorite band that should do the Super Bowl halftime or something else. You just never know.
Maybe we'll come up with a football topic.
Or a football topic. It could happen. By the way, congrats to Mark Orfe, the new safeties coach for Texas. We talked about him throughout the show a couple times, coming from Rutgers to Texas. He is a North Shore guy. He is a former Saban guy, stretching it a tad. He was an analyst on a Saban staff. And when you're a DB's coach, you put that on your resume till you die. And which I'm sure Orfe will. Welcome to town, Coach Orfe. Now that staff is complete again, and Texas rolls on towards the season. We're under 200 days now, 199 till Texas at Ohio State as we speak to you on this Wednesday night. Y'all have a great week. We'll talk to you next week. Until then, Razor, run them fast, even when it's cold. We are the Outsiders, and we are legitimately worth a shit. 1,600 or farther. We'll run as far as you need us to. See ya.